Hey there, this is Teresa, and let's talk abundance. And today I want to share with you a story, a true story of something that happened to me that I think has huge impact on our ability to experience abundance as well as to grow and thrive in our lives. You've probably had a similar experience. It was many years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I was at the Brookfield Zoo near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And of course, they had the seal show and the dolphin show. And we were at the dolphin show. And, the crowd is all gathered around as we watch the trainers tell the dolphin to jump through the hoop or bounce the ball on their nose or swim backwards. And of course, every time the dolphins do what the trainers ask and perform these amazing tricks, the crowd is just going ooh and ah and clapping and applauding. It's really, when you stop and think about it, it's pretty phenomenal. And it just so happened that after that performance, I had an opportunity to meet with one of the trainers. And so I asked her a question. It's probably a question she's been asked a zillion times, but I asked it anyway. I said, how do you teach them to do that? And she said, well, it's really quite simple. So my ears perked up because simple sounds good to me. And she said, whenever the dolphin performs in the way we want, engages in the behavior we ask them to engage in, we give them all sorts of attention and all sorts of energy. We cheer, we go yay, we applaud, and of course we give them a treat. Now, when the dolphin doesn't engage in the behavior that we want, we just ignore it. So if we tell it to jump through the hoop and it bounces the ball on its nose, we just ignore it. Pay it no attention, give it no energy, and simply repeat the desired behavior, the command. Jump through the hoop. And then when the dolphin jumps through the hoop, we again give it all sorts of attention, all sorts of energy, cheer, applaud, and give it a treat. And she said, that's it. That and a lot of repetition, and that's how we teach them to do that. Pretty phenomenal, pretty simple, pretty amazing. So I got to thinking about how I respond to me and how I see so many of my clients respond to themselves when they're trying to learn a new habit or they're trying to do things that support them to experience abundance, whether that's manage their money or manage their time better or just take an action that they avoid taking or making a choice that they don't usually make. And here's what I see far too often, and I know it myself, and I continue to have to practice this one. When we engage in the behavior like we don't want to take, so if we tell ourselves, I am going to get up and exercise this morning, and then we don't, we give it all sorts of attention. We beat ourselves up. We tell ourselves, I'm so stupid. Why couldn't I do that? What's my problem? I'm never going to get in shape. I just can't exercise regularly. We give that unhealthy behavior all sorts of energy and attention. We judge ourselves for it and all of that. And then if we actually do engage in the behavior we want, like this morning, we get up and we go exercise. You know what? We oftentimes do that. It's like, well, yeah, but I should have been doing it weeks ago. There's no yay. There's no cheering. There's no energy that we're giving to the behaviors that support us to have what we want, to be who we want to be. Now, this becomes all the more important when you understand one of the oldest principles of prosperity and spirituality and personal growth. And it says something like this: what you focus on the most, what you give your energy to the most, is what's going to show up and expand in your life. So when we're giving all of our attention and all of our energy to, I'm not doing this, and what's my problem that I'm not doing this, and all of that, guess what? More of not doing that usually shows up. And then if we actually engage in the behavior and we don't really focus on that, reinforce that, it usually doesn't last very long. Ask any parent who's ever had to potty train a kid, and they've used this one. Kid comes running in and says, I went potty. And it's like, yay, yay. And that's how we reinforce that behavior. I call this the celebration principle, or the reinforcement or validation principle. It's about giving extra energy and attention, celebrating it, acknowledging it, validating ourselves for it. Those behaviors that we want to have continue to show up in our lives, that we want to continue to engage in, those behaviors, those choices that support us to grow and to experience abundance. And truly, when we do this, we experience abundance in the moment, because we get to have that moment, in that moment of satisfaction, that moment of feeling pleased with ourselves, that moment of recognizing progress and growth, which is what abundance is all about. It's about growth. So back to my dolphin trainer friend. Today, when you engage in a behavior that you know serves you, especially if it's a new one that you're learning, if you make a choice that supports you to be who you want to be and have what you want in your life, are you willing to take a moment? Take a moment and celebrate that. Externally, outwardly, give yourself a Home Alone fist pump, pat yourself on the back, give yourself a cheer, go out and find a friend and say, give me a high five. Or just internally go to yourself, yay me, way to go. Or even just pause before you move on to your next action and just let yourself savor this moment of satisfaction. I did it. I made that choice. Yay me. And if, of course, there's something that you know to do, you need to do, you're asked to do, that's going to support you, and you don't do it, or you just make a mistake, can you just let it go, not give it any extra attention, and repeat the command? Repeat your mental request of yourself to take that action now. Whoops, didn't do that this morning. You catch the awareness. Let's do it now. Very, very different energy than, God, I can't believe I didn't do that this morning. And we just reinforce the very thing that we don't want to have show up. This practice, which I learned and really became clear on when I met that dolphin trainer, is how we begin to experience more abundance in our lives, because we start to focus on abundance. Those things that we want, that support us, that fulfill us. And we stop giving attention to and focusing on the scarcity, the mistakes, the struggle. This is Teresa, and we're talking abundance. But remember, it's not just about talking abundance. So take this principle and go out and use it to live abundance in your life.